Hey you guys, Matt Allen here. Welcome back to Tactical Bassin'. Today we're back out river fishing. We're back on the kayak and we're chasing muskie. Giant apex predators in a little tiny crystal clear river. Our main goal today is to catch a great big muskie. Now if a smallmouth wants to jump up and bite, by all means, we are gonna take it. But we're throwing big baits today. We're throwing bucktails, giant topwaters, big whopper plopper, glide baits. We're trying to catch a monster muskie. It is freezing cold this morning, but these fish love that cold temperature. That gets them going. I really like our conditions today. I like this overcast in the morning, and I really like our odds of finally putting another one of these giant muskie on the kayak. These fish are so much fun. I've been on a mission to get one lately. I have had so many close calls coming up, swiping at the boat. Follows on follows on follows. I had one the other day come up and crush it in a figure eight. Just absolutely crush it. And somehow I didn't hook that fish. You want to talk about the shakes after that was over. Oh my goodness. But today feels right. It's gonna happen again and we're gonna put that thing on the kayak. I am so excited for it. I've got a little ways to travel. We're headed upstream right now to get to our area. I'm back on the Sportsman, so we're using the trolling motor. We're cruising. I'm on the smaller Sportsman. This is the 120, so that I can navigate really well in this shallow stuff. And in fact, the water levels fluctuate here so much that sometimes we have to drag these things in and out of the water. We're all over the place with them, but enough of that. We're almost there. Let's get to fishing. Musky. There she is, there she is. She's into it. Oh, she was all over it. I sped up and she really sped up. I thought for sure she was gonna eat. I don't know where she went. I thought for sure she was gonna smash it. She really liked that speed up. Man, I am shaky now. Whew. I totally lost her. She went under me. She never came back out, so I'm sure she just went on across behind me while I was looking down doing the 8. I'm just slow skirting across the river. I'm gonna sit over here out of the way. These fish, when they get revved up like that, sometimes they stay revved up. So I'm gonna switch baits. See if we can't get her to stick around. There she is. There she is. She just mouthed it. Oh my God, she mouthed it again. She's right there. She's right there. She's all over it. That fish just hung next to me for so long. She might still be there. I just sat down. I'm putting on a jig. A great big jig. It's a giant Dirty Jigs, no jack flipping jig with a huge Magnum Baits trailer on it. She mouthed on that bait Sanity half a dozen times. Didn't bite it. Like blew towards it, opened her mouth and snapped at it. She seems really territorial. If I could stop shaking long enough to put this jig on, I might get her. She's nosed up on my jig. No way. She just nipped it. Something turned her off. Hard to say what. It's crazy though. So some days you'll come out here on the river. It's no different than bass fishing. And it just seems like there's fish everywhere. Other days, you swear there's not a fish alive in the river. So I had just texted my wife Cece that I hadn't so much seen a bluegill or a bass or a sucker, let alone a muskie, all morning. Just completely dead river. And then maybe 4 casts later, giant muskie starts shooting full throttle. That's what keeps you going. One of these fish is gonna crush it. This is when I appreciate my kayak. Isn't this incredible? Cruising upriver against current that I would not want to paddle against. That is definitely the end of the line for us. No getting through that one. It just came down too. All the leaves haven't even changed color. Look at where the water level was. Logs stuck in that tree up there. Crazy. When this place floods, it floods big time. muskie. Small one. That's a muskie. It's a little guy. He's chasing the boat. There she is. Got her. So much work went into getting this. This is not the biggest muskie in the world. She's the smallest one I've caught in this river section, but she's on a glide bait, and that has been one of my goals. Not the biggest muskie in the history of the world. They are slippery. She's gone. Of the ones I've caught doing this now, that is the coolest. Not because of its size, but because I got to catch it the way I wanted to catch it. Let me dig my bait out of the net here. I'll show it to you. I've been having so much fun chasing these fish the last couple of falls that I finally invested in an actual muskie rod. So this is the Shimano Skix, the 8-foot heavy. Certainly could have caught that fish on any one of my glide bait rods, however, but paired up to a Tranx 400. But that fish ate the Bait Sanity Explorer. That's that guy right there. Kokanee color. And then with that hatch match tail on it, that swimming tail. And I'm hoping that the chesty got it all on camera for you guys to see. Now, obviously, those are not bass size hooks hanging from that thing, right? Standard bass rod, basically, swim bait rod, 80-pound braid, but then that's 130-pound fluoro leader, and those are giant treble hooks hanging there. But I have wanted to catch a muskie my way. Not that other people don't catch them on glide baits, but I hadn't. That was important to me. And guys, I have been on a muskie mission. You have no idea. Some days taking the kayak upriver. Some days the current isn't right, so we drift downriver. Some days we're so committed, I've got the kayak hooked to a strap and I'm dragging it up through shallow rapids that I can't trolling motor or paddle through. These fish are awesome. And I've been thinking a lot today about why I like them so much. And I finally put my finger on it. It's not just that it's a big predator fish eating a swim bait. I mean, that's a major part of it. But it's not just that. It's that they're eating a swim bait at the speed I like to fish big baits. If I get to choose, I'm not bottom crawling, right? Talking about bass. If I have to bottom crawl a swim bait, I will. But if I get to choose, that's not what I'm doing. If I get to choose, I mean, it's a full-blown chuck and wind. We talked about this in our recent swim bait seminar. Going down the bank, chucking and winding, covering water, because when those fish commit, they clobber it. I love doing that. I don't get to do it enough. So these muskie, that's what it is. I'm chucking and winding, I'm covering water. Hopefully the chesty saw what went down, because when those fish commit, same deal, they crush it. And that was a relatively small one, right? He was only that long, a little over 2 feet long. The ones I've caught here before have all been in the 40 inches, but I saw one today that was tiny, tiny. So it's good to see all these different size fish in here. It's a healthy fishery. All right, I'm gonna keep going. I'm a little discombobulated right now, but I'm gonna put it all back together and who knows, maybe we'll get another one. All right, guys, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. I'm gonna head for home. Obviously not a typical video, not a bass video, but catching one muskie is special. They're an apex predator, they're an incredible fish. And in a place like this where it's just a few feet deep and it's clear, watching those things move around and interact is mind-blowing. And it's fun because there are so many things that line up with bass fishing. I mean, the gear we're using, the different baits. Down in the video description, I will link the exact baits that I had tied on today. I threw 4 or 5 baits. I got bit on the Explorer, and I got bit on a bucktail. But I threw the Whopper Plopper, I threw the Rat, I threw a few different things, and just on bass tackle. But the biggest thing is I just had a blast. I mean, that's the reality of it. It was great to be back on the kayak. You know, the kayak is just, for us, it's a tool in our arsenal. We're very blessed to be able to have a kayak and to have the boat. But you can't bring the boats in here. Even the jet boat, the water's too skinny in sections, so I can't even get that in here. It's only the kayak. And it's really remarkable. It's a special experience, one, because of the size of the fish. Obviously the one we landed was a smaller muskie, but even today I saw some really big ones, some low 40s, and in the last week or two I've seen some high 40s, some really big ones. But just getting out here, incredibly peaceful. It's gorgeous. Let me turn, maybe you guys will see the fall colors down there behind me. Incredible colors, even down here in this protected valley. The tops, they're all done already, but down here low on the river, it's even changing color. It is full-blown fall, almost winter now. But just coming out here, never hearing an outboard running, never hearing another person talking, and getting to interact with these fish while just drifting on the kayak is just a wild experience, something I hope you all get to experience at some point in your life. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you, and we'll talk to you soon.